My name is Tyler Griffin. I'm the Vice President of the Woodland College Republicans. Today we have Ms. Carrie Almond, who is the President of the National Federation of Republican Women. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And we're actually on Rosie the Bus, which is the bus that's been touring the country. So this is really cool for us to be here. So I'm really excited to be on the bus. I've never been in a bus like this before, so this is really neat.
Well, it's a working bus,
yeah.
So we do sleep on the bus too, but it is set up to be command central for the National Federation of Republican Women while we're on the road.
So how did you first get involved into the National Federation for Republican Women?
Well, I started actually being involved with the Florida Federation of Republican Women when I lived on Key Biscayne, and then when I moved to Missouri, I became involved with the Missouri Federation of Republican Women on the local county level, and I worked my way up to president of Missouri, and then I decided that I should try to get on the national board. And I tell everybody, if I didn't have such a unique name, I probably wouldn't have won the election because I was running against 14 very qualified ladies. But I got chocolate-covered almonds, and I said, almond for member at large. So you can't beat that,
no, you
right?
Can't. That's great. That's great. So as a conservative, what issues are most important to you?
Well, I think as I've traveled around the country over 39 states, I think it's really hard to put all of the women in one basket. Everyone has, different issues because they have had different personal experiences. So different things are important, but every issue is a woman's issue.
Exactly.
But I think really what hinges in the balance for me as being the most important issue is the fact that we have to win this election in order to save the Supreme Court.
That's something we've been hearing on both sides is, Hillary Clinton thinks that Donald Trump being president and appointing Supreme Court justice would be a bad thing, but actually it's going to save us for decades because, when I'm older, Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump would appoint would still probably be serving, so it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for not just my lifetime and your lifetime, but your children's, because this is something, a Supreme Court justice appointee is for life.
Yeah.
And then I just want to add one other thing. I know you only asked for one thing, but I'm a banker in my real life, and I'm executive vice president of one of the largest banks in Missouri. And I worked my way up from the mailroom to the boardroom. And I do think that the economy is very, very important issue. But what concerns me the most is the regulations that have been imposed on small business banking over the last 8 years. They have just stifled the community, and people don't realize what great work bankers do to make loans to our neighbors so our communities can thrive. So that is my second issue.
And we college republic, we use a community bank because some of the bigger banks they charge us and they don't, but the community banks are really what help the local community. That's why they call them
community banks. Yes. Exactly.
So going back to kind of the issues of this election, Hillary Clinton is claiming that she is the champion of women. That's why a lot of people are saying she's the first woman to be the nominee of a major political party, which is a big deal. But she's claiming that she is the champion of women. So what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I think that it is very unfortunate that she would try to make this election about gender, because women are smart enough to think for themselves and look at the big picture in an election. And it isn't about whether you're a woman or whether it's a man. Absolutely, as a professional woman who's worked hard to get to where I am, would I like to see a woman in the White House? Absolutely. But I want the right woman. I don't want Hillary Clinton in the White House.
I know even when Carly Fiorina was running, she was qualified. I think I would be fine with a woman either. It's just you got to make sure
they are the right woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And I know that she tries to say that she is an activist for women and that women should support her because she is a woman, but she doesn't lead in the way that women I know want to be led. just like she talks about a lot of issues like equal pay, but she doesn't practice equal pay in her foundation and in her business.
Yeah, definitely. Well, now that you mentioned that you've been on Rosie the Bus since May, I'm sure that's been tiring and it's been a lot of hard work. But what is one of the most memorable experiences you've had on the tour?
Well, can I indulge you and give you two?
Sure, definitely.
Okay. While every day is fabulous because these women are the ones that energize me. They say I energize them by bringing the bus. But every time I meet somebody, they tell me something special, and so it gives me the momentum to go on. But the first and most amazing experience on Rosie was in Wisconsin, and it was late in the evening, and we were parked, and we had the door open. We were actually waiting on a pizza because we were starving, and all the restaurants were closed around us, and we hadn't eaten. It had been a very long day. A black gentleman came to the door and knocked on the screen and said, "I want to talk to you about this bus." And I said, "Okay, I'll be right down." So I went down, and he goes, "Tell me about this bus. What are you doing? What is this women's thing about, Republicans?" And I said, "Well, we are really focused in on voter registration because there's 23 million unregistered females, and we want to tackle that issue and let women know that their voice and their vote matter in this election. Depending on who you talk to, it's 52 to 54% of the voting body are females. And we have to tell them that they are important." He goes, "Well, that's what I thought this was about, and I'm so glad I stopped." He goes, "How can I help you? And what can I do what message can you give me to help me tell the youth outreach group that I work with, which is mostly young black girls that do not think their vote is important? What can I do to help get that message to them?" And I said, "Come to the Republican Party headquarters with us tomorrow and rally, and we will give you voter registration forms." And he came, and he left with a stack of voter registration forms. So I know that he did a lot of work in Wisconsin.
That's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. And it's, our Republican women do great work all the time. But they don't scream, look at me, look at me. They just go about everything, getting it done. Well, you roll into town in a red, white, and blue bus, and people are going to say, look at that, look at that. I want to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So the second most memorable experience was in Indiana. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was just sitting outside. It was a beautiful afternoon, and when you're on a bus, it's really nice to be outside, even if, on top of all the rallies. And a couple came up. They were just walking around this pond that we had stationed next to, and they walked up to me and they said, "Can we talk to you?" And I said, "Well, absolutely. Hi, I'm Carrie Almond." And they introduced themselves, and they said, "We want to pray with you." And I said, "Okay, I would love to pray with you. What shall we pray about?" And they said, "We want to pray about you, because you have answered our prayers today. And had we not walked this way, we would never have seen you, and our prayers would not have been answered. So the Lord works in fabulous ways. We have been praying since this election started, that women would support Donald Trump. And this bus proves that women support Donald Trump. His name is all over this bus. And so we prayed together, and they wrote Psalm 121 on the front of the bus. That is, "He will give you safe arrivals and safe departures."
That's really special.
It is special. And they were just a wonderful, wonderful couple. And many of the signatures have rubbed off on the bus. That one's still there.
That's great.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. Now, we've talked about some political issues, but what is something about you that not many people know about you?
Well, something that will be probably half of your listeners will be proud and the other half won't be. I am a graduate of the University of South Carolina.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yes. And a lot of people might not know it, but I was a Pi Phi at Carolina, and I was president of my chapter.
That's great. I have a lot of friends that go to USC, so that's awesome.
Yes. I'm a Gamecock, right? Even when they play Missouri, which is where I live, I still root for Carolina.
That's going to be hard to
Now that they're in the SEC, I know. It's crazy.
So, we're talking about college. what is your message to younger voters? Because they've talked about some voters are a little young voters have been kind of torn about what to do with this election.
Well, the first thing I would say is look in your heart and see what's important, and sit down and read the Republican Party platform and read the Democrat Party platform, and you will know once you are finished that the Republican values are the ones that are right for you. But the other thing that I like to tell college age Americans is that they shouldn't wait to get involved in politics until something happens. What I find is people don't get involved in politics until something happens that makes them say, wow. Think about how important it is to get involved in politics early, because politics isn't just what goes on in Washington. It's, are you happy with your electric bill? Are you happy with how your city council is running your town?
Yeah.
Are you happy with, how the sheriffs are operating? It's local issues that really matter. And if we start to fix those local issues, the rest of it will take care of themselves.
We interviewed our local congressman, Mick Mulvaney, and he said to us, you may not be interested in politics, but it's interested in you.
There
and
you
so
go.
I love that, and I think that's what you said is great. That you may not think politics is in your life, but it is. It's in your bills. It's everywhere.
That's right.
So where's Rosie the Bus going next?
Well, we're going to head to Charlotte tonight. As you know, North Carolina is one of our battleground states. So we will try to do some rallies in North Carolina. We've been very concerned about our ladies with the who've received hurricane damage, as many of our ladies have here in South Carolina, and we were just in Florida. So we will see how that goes in North Carolina and head on to Virginia, and then we will really start focusing in on Ohio, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania as we get closer to the finish line.
Well, that's great. We really appreciate what you're doing. I hope you have safe travels as you continue your tour, and we hope it helps us out in November.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.